Okay, let's take a look at my Taurus G3. Pretty much everything I'm going to say here also applies to the G2C, and I've confirmed that on my wife's pistol. Well, right off the bat, let's clear it for inspection. Get the magazine out. Release the safety. It's clear. Okay. If you rack it all the way back, it's just going to come forward into the firing position again without the magazine. If you want to simulate an empty magazine being in the pistol, you can pry up slightly here on the receiver release button, and there is a notch right here that it's going to engage with. So you pry up on it and it locks into place, right? That same button, it's called the release, so yeah, that same button releases it. And I'll tell you, as it racks forward, I want to tell you that this is a solid pistol. It just, there's not much play in any of its travel. And with the light polymer grip section and that heavy, relatively heavy receiver weight, it just feels solid. But to do a further quick inspection, there are receiver release buttons. Not sure exactly what Taurus wants to call them, but it's buttons that have to be interacted with to have the receiver release from the grip section. And you can get graceful and pull back on the nose and take a little pressure off. And even though you can only see the one that my index finger is on, my thumb is interacting with the one on the back side here, and I'm pulling both down at the same time. And you can tell by the end of the muzzle that the receiver is back a little bit and my index finger is holding it in that position. And so with the receiver release pressed down, I can take the tension off the receiver, and maybe you can see that is about halfway down its travel. This right here. And on the back side, I can see it's the same way. I have seen on other videos and maybe even on Taurus's website that at this point right here, I should just be able to smack the back side of the receiver and throw it off. I've done that a couple of times, and yeah, after you bang on it and nearly destroy your thumb, it will release, but we've cleared this. We know it's empty. We're fixing to pull the trigger, and with everything the way it's sitting, the pull of that trigger is what releases it. Okay? And before we go any further, if this was as far as you wanted to go, you just wanted to look in there and look at your shiny spots and see if there was any ragged metal hanging over, then yeah, okay. So now you're going back together, line everything up. And at this point right here, I have slid it all back together, but you might can see that these little release buttons are halfway down in their travel. And so that means it's still ready for me to release it all and pull the trigger and release it. Okay. At some point though, I want to put it back to where I can put a magazine in it, pull the trigger and fire it, right? Okay, so all you have to do is just rack it back slightly. Everything goes back up to its ready position and you're good to go. Now, we can go through all that and take it all back apart and go a step or two further, get the barrel out, get the receiver spring out and check it out. But at this point right here, just getting in there and looking at your shiny spots and seeing what kind of wear you have, that's the simplest inspection you can make. And it lets you know whether a price you're looking at fits the situation or not.